Good thing we got those bad people arrested. Good job, drug buster superhero.
I could not have done it without you, lady who I don't know but want to get to know because you look nice but may not know anyways because I am too busy fighting crime, being a full-time graduate student and have no time for a social life. But someone has to enjoy these money and wine, so I guess I can get to know you.
Oh no. The bad people left a bomb here.
Don't worry. I did the lightning math in my head and the p-value is large as hell. We'll be fine.
What is the p-value and what does it have to do with us not being blown up by this bomb?
The p-value simply states the probability of getting the results you have if the null hypothesis was true. In other words, the p-value answers the question what is the probability that the difference between randomly selected samples will be larger than the actual observed.
You lost me.
Oh yeah, you were obviously not a statistic graduate student like me. Let me start from the beginning. Have you ever watched movies Rush Hour, Mission Impossible Parts 1, 2, 3, 4, Superman, Iron Man, and the Hulk?
No. Yes. I don't know. There is a bomb here ready to explode in a couple of minutes. Are you crazy? Call for help.
Well, in these movies the superheroes never die from any explosive bombs. So in calculating the p-value I would start with a null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis.
So what is the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis?
We have these when we are comparing two variables to see if they have a relationship. Our variables are explosive bomb and death of superhero. The null hypothesis states that these two variables are not related. The alternative hypothesis states that these two variables are related. In our case, the null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between bombs exploding and superheroes dying. The alternative is that bombs exploding is related to superheroes dying.
So what does that have to do with the p-value and how did you calculate it?
I entered in the samples of bomb explosion and superheroes' life outcome from the movie I mentioned into the statistical program chip that I installed in my brain to do lightning-fast calculations of complicated functions and formula that gave me the p-value.
So what is the p-value that you got?
0.0001.
So what does this mean?
This means we are safe because we failed to reject the null hypothesis. In other words, the null hypothesis stating that there is no relationship between bombs explosion and the death of superheroes still holds.
So what point marks when you could or could not reject the null hypothesis?
In statistics class I learned that point is called the alpha level and it is usually 0.05 because most statisticians agreed that point is good to avoid type 1 and type 2 errors. If the p-value is higher than 0.05, then it would be safe to say that we failed to reject the null hypothesis. But if the p-value is lower than 0.05, then it would be safe for us to say that there is more evidence to reject the null hypothesis.
So the p-value you got is so much lower than 0.05, which means we can reject the null hypothesis, which means that the alternative hypothesis is true and we are going to die? OMG, I still have so much to live for. I'm still a virgin. Need to finish my dissertation, get married and...
No. Calm down, lady. You were half right. We can reject the null hypothesis, but we can't say that the alternative hypothesis is true. And besides, I never said that the alpha level I used was 0.05. I definitely know that superheroes and their girls never dies from bomb explosives because I watched a lot of hero movies, so I decreased the alpha level to 0.000000000000000001 to avoid type 2 error.
So what is type 1 and type 2 errors?
Type 1 error occurs if we reject the null hypothesis when it is true. Type 2 error occurs if we fail to reject the null hypothesis when the alternative hypothesis is true. In other words, if we reject the null hypothesis when it is true, then that would be type 1 error. If we fail to reject the null hypothesis when the alternative hypothesis was true, then that would be a type 2 error.
What does all this mean?
Our p-value is more than our alpha level, which means that we failed to reject the null hypothesis that states no relationship between bomb explosions and superheroes and their girl dying. Because you are my girl and I'm a superhero, we are safe.
So your data is not a random sample that comes from movies where superheroes are guaranteed to live after a bomb explodes in front or close to them. Samples are from superheroes, so that does not include me. I am not your girl. You are not doing math because this is statistics. You manipulate the numbers to match your fantasies and movies. That does not apply to real life at all. What is the practical significance of this?
Well, there is
none whatsoever. My observation tells me that the chip you installed in your head has made you stupid. I suggest you take it out and install a common sense chip. I'm going to jump out of the window now before the last 3 minutes of the bomb ends. Enjoy your money and wine because you won't have them in hell.